the board into session and ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Commissioner Zender,
Here.
Commissioner Henning.
Here. Opening prayer, I guess, since I haven't really asked anybody else, I will say that we have ask, see, Commissioner Zender, perhaps say Commissioner Warren, since he's back, will, to lead us with a pledge. Our Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together today to consider the business of Lapeer County. It's always a challenge and an opportunity to do things that we hope are designed to help the people of our county. We ask for your direction and guidance as we do that. We ask for your blessings upon our staff, their families, the people of this county. We thank you for the many, many gifts of really not just physical, but emotional and other support that we get from a relationship to you. We ask for your guidance, not only as a county, but as a state and a nation as we go forward. We certainly need the help on a daily basis. We ask all of this in thy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, draft minutes are in the packet.
The ones you need are outside,
Also,
just the January 6th.
that's all we're doing. Okay, thank you. January 6th minutes for committee of the whole.
Make a motion to move.
Okay, support. Okay, motion is second. Any other comments, corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Passed. Okay, agenda items.
I would like to make an addition to the agenda for the BAAA appointment. I want to introduce that for Ed Schaefer today.
Okay,
And also on the senior advisory board for the local, Alan Pierce, I'm just going to appoint him my position today. So, I don't know how that had to go on the agenda.
okay, we'll add that, I think this topic 6.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if we could move number 3, 911 emergency, that really should go to properties first, and we're prepared to add that to the properties agenda today.
Okay,
And then also, if we could put back on Lapeer County EMS, at least for review.
EMS agreement, we'll put that in as topic 3, substitute. Any other additions, administration, any additions? Can you see none? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion?
Support.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, then we've got going around somewhere here, some paperwork for board to look at, including overnight travel requests, grant applications, and budget amendments. Please look at them and see if anything needs to be brought up. Go now to department heads and see which department would like to make any comments. First come, first served.
Okay, I'll go. Our sheriff, thank you. Good morning. Just a couple things. I apologize, Jeremy, and I have to roll right away. We have meetings that are waiting for us at the office, so I want to stop in. Stats for the week are lodged in the jail, 9, Lapeer City 1, Sheriff's Office 7, State Police 1. Out of those, there were 8 felony charges, 2 misdemeanors, 1 civil. 9 of them male, 0 female. Traffic stops 104, car crashes 32, personal injury accidents 4. Fortunately, no fatalities. Actually, that's nice to see. Out of the 9, we don't have any that are detoxing from drugs or alcohol or need medical treatment. You don't see that very often. So that's a good thing. Just a couple things. One, obviously Susan will put the paperwork in. We'll be at personnel, the next personnel, which I think is that first one in February. Just a heads up, kind of the discussions we've had in the past. Currently, we're down 3 road people and 1 corrections. Unfortunately, the 3 people, I know I sound like a broken record, but 3 of the ones, or the 3 positions on the road we have, 2 of those were people that we just hired that left and went to other departments. So kind of that same revolving door that we're dealing with all the time. So we will be at personnel with the 3 road, 1 corrections. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, we just had our, as you know, we have the Department of Corrections comes in, they do all the inspections on the jail for the state. And we had ours at the beginning of the week. Came back at 100%, not 1 single deduction, which does not happen. I think number 1, it's kudos to everybody, even going back to Lieutenant Engelhardt, I rave about him, but seeing Lieutenant Beebe, how he's taken over. But I think it's a tribute to the guys and girls that work back there too, just to see how that we never missed a beat as we went through that. So they came in, the inspector shook my hand again and just said his life would be so much easier if we had all Lapeer counties. But the guys and girls, I'm just so impressed with them to do that. And that's a lot of change going from Dwayne to Steve of everything there as long as Dwayne's been here. And to see that, it's just, when you see him, say thank you. Because I just am so impressed with them and so proud of them because they just do a phenomenal job. And to hear the inspector rave about some of the messes he has to deal with at some of the other jails, a huge compliment to Lapeer. So I'm grateful. Unless you have any other questions.
I want to thank you. Well, the other good thing is that you said no detox, and that's coming off of major holidays.
Yes, very, very
That's a good thing to
true.
hear, so.
Yes, so that makes that number even better. Very true. Anything else?
Total number housed at the jail?
Actually, I remember because you asked me that last week. I looked last night, we're at 61. So, and we're staying obviously with the COVID stuff, with the numbers coming in. We have been smarter with all the departments around here than what we do. But obviously anything of any importance, you go to jail. That's one nice thing about Lapeer is we're not gonna put people on the street that shouldn't be on the street. But we're still, that's about half for us. So that'll pick up, of course, and I think we're getting better with how we do it. I think it's another big compliment to the way the guys and girls have handled the COVID thing. I was talking to Sheriff Murphy at Livingston the other day in a District 5 meeting, and they have 92 COVID positive people in their jail. So, thank God we don't have the nightmares in some of these places, but.
Hopefully there's plenty of them survivor back and they can take care of it.
Yeah, again, it just goes back to the job those guys and girls do back there. They really do a fantastic job. So, anything else?
Anybody else?
Okay,
Thank you.
I apologize, we got to roll, so I'm sorry. Have a great day, guys.
Commissioner Warren,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
might have you pull your microphone up a little closer.
A little closer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I asked the sheriff to stick around. I wanted to acknowledge him and his department. I mean, they always respond to calls we had, but a couple of weeks ago, we had a situation where we needed additional security. They stepped up, they immensely helped us. And in spite of all their short staffing and everything, they're still stepping up and doing a great job. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, any other departments that wish to make a comment at this point? Oh, we'll include road commission. Mr. Pearson, how are you?
Good. I just got a couple quick things for you. One of them being in February, we have our annual township meeting where we discuss what our projects are. So I'd like to invite you guys to come. It's Tuesday, and I don't know the date, and I will get you guys the date. I apologize. I'm trying to get with the townships to find out when their annual meeting is. If it's a Tuesday on the 13th or something like that. So again, we are I'm going to call it the entertainment. And we will again go over our township books and some programs we have, and we will cover, our engineering department is going to cover our new website in pretty good detail because we're pretty excited about our website upgrade. So the other thing is, in May, I'm going to retire. I've been there for 35 years. So, it's time for me to go farming. So that's what I'm gonna do. So just want to let the board know it's been a pleasure. I'll be here between now and May, obviously, but I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you for your service.
And thank you.
Anything you want to comment in terms of winter work? Haven't had much snow?
No, it hasn't been. So obviously, we've been patching potholes and trimming trees, which is good. That needs to be done, and that's typically winter work when it's not snowing. So hopefully, I don't want to jinx myself, but we don't get a whole bunch of snow in the next couple of months, and it gives us a little more funding to do the summer work that lasts, the rebuild the roads and stuff. So that's what we're hoping.
Are you getting much communication about the federal money coming?
No, I haven't. It's been pretty quiet right now. So I know they've announced some stuff with bridges and stuff, but there are a couple of grants that we applied for. We are working towards the grant process with some of them funds. So, but very limited at this point in time what it's truly going to do for us, in our regular budget stuff. So, all right. Any other questions?
Questions or comments?
Just one that meeting on Tuesday, approximately the 13th, is that going to be at the road commission?
No, it'll be at a town. What we do is we go to wherever the township meeting, the MTA meeting is.
Okay.
And that's the other thing. I'm waiting for the location. I've reached out, so I thought maybe if Mike Bosky was here, I could bend his ear, but yeah, he's not here, so.
Sometimes he arrives late, so
Okay.
if he gets here, we'll try to get that.
And again, I'll get you guys the information, and we'll have the books that we hand out. We'll have copies for you guys there. If you're interested, and if you don't make it, I'll bring them here. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, any other departments that, we got a couple will be on the agenda, so they may wish to keep their time till then. Seeing none, then I invite the public who's here, and good numbers. We appreciate your being here. If you've got any comments you'd like to make, this would be an appropriate time. Of course, we also have time at the end of the session for public time as well. Any comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll move on then. We've substituted the EMS agreement. So we want to invite Mr. Adams to talk about that agreement, and I think now the board has seen it. It just arrived, so we've
Good morning.
had a
Thank
couple
you.
days.
Thank you, Commissioner, for the opportunity to address this. Again, I was here last week, and the agreement was reviewed by your legal counsel. They made really one primary recommendation and then some grammatical changes, meaning we had drafted the item in December, so they changed the dates throughout it to coincide with that. And then there was just the reduction of the automatic renewal. Felt that it was a formality, but because my board had not acted on that document last week, we waited. My board's meeting was Tuesday. They reviewed it, they concurred, and our legal counsel concurred that removing that automatic renewal didn't change the content or context of the agreement. So it has been approved with those changes. And I forwarded it to the controller administrator on Tuesday shortly after that meeting. Sounds like you have a copy of it.
We do.
Okay, any questions from board members about that agreement? Okay, seeing none, we'll suggest we've got one board member that would like to have a little more time to consider it.
Okay.
And so I guess I would ask if we might put off a final vote, move this topic to our
So do
meeting
you need a
next.
motion to move it, or?
Yes, I think
I'll make a motion to move it to next week, authority to act.
that'll be full board, and we do have authority to act then.
Support.
Very good.
Any
Thank you,
further
Commissioner.
discussion?
Thank you.
Sorry, what's the?
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank
Get
you.
it done.
Have a good day.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Now, did we skip over public time?
We just.
We did. Oh, we did.
I did ask.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed
Nobody
that.
at this point.
I fell asleep for a moment, sorry.
It's not that I haven't missed it.
No, I did.
It's fair to check. Okay, Emergency management,
Good morning.
Mary, thank you for being here and all the work you put in for this. I want to
Thank you.
introduce the topic and talk about it.
I do, if I could take 2 seconds, since Rick and Zev are both in the room, I want to thank Rick especially. He has supported the emergency management department from the get-go. They were always there when we need them. Zev especially, Zev stepped up when the pandemic hit and took over housing our PPE, so we really couldn't have gotten through the PPE part of it without Zev's help. They didn't bat an eye, so I personally just want to say thank you for your years of support and greatly appreciated from the emergency management department anyway. Okay, I have the hazard mitigation plan. I don't know if anyone has any questions. If you need more information, it's been before you. It's been before all of your elected or your township officials. If you.
I did want to ask about that. Are the townships having to vote their approval of it as well?
Yes, after today, each township will be approached by the planners that we hired to do this. They will be approached. They also have to adopt the resolution at their end if they want to be eligible for any hazard mitigation money and potentially any disaster relief money. It's not written anywhere, but I say it takes 2 seconds to adopt the resolution and you're eligible for anything that occurs. It's smart practice. The downside was we didn't have very many jurisdictions submit projects. If the projects are in that plan, then you are more than likely, when grant funding opens up, that kind of bumps you up on the eligibility for that grant if you have a project already submitted. And we didn't get a lot of those from local governments, but we did have some that submitted it, so.
Can you list those that you got it from?
I don't have the complete listing.
Sorry.
They're throughout that whole document.
Okay.
On that 300-some page document that you're talking about, but I'm sorry, I didn't put this together of project. I can do that and email it to you, but as you may or may not know, hazard mitigation money becomes available when a disaster occurs in the state of Michigan. The federal government requires that the state of Michigan put so much money aside to lessen the impact of future disasters. So there's an array of things that can be done. You know, the road commission can submit projects, the drain commissioner can submit projects, your local government, DPWs, and all of those. Sirens, everybody wants to jump on siren. They don't allow very much money to be spent on sirens anymore. So they're looking for something that's going to lessen the impact. Moving homes out of flood prone areas, that's a mitigation. It's going to lessen the impact of future disasters. So
what you're saying is they need to get on board, get on that list. If that happens, they'll be ready to get moved.
yes,
Okay, so
and it makes them again more eligible for the grant. It opens up. So
If you would send us the name of the units that did submit, I think that would be healthy.
Sure.
Um,
you guys did.
This is a very lengthy plan. When I got it, I was shocked at the length of it. It requires a lot of work on your part, but there's some very good information in it. I wondered, is that on our website, or can we add that to our website?
I think what we'll do is after it's officially adopted by you, then we'll put the complete and final document out there. Right now, the draft is listed with Genesee County Regional because they're the contractors that put it together. So, but the final document can easily be uploaded.
I think for a lot of people, it would be interesting information to see what's transpired as well as what's going potentially to give some units of government protection.
Yes, and it lists our rankings of our hazards that we're prone to here and what, we have the Emergency Management Advisory Council, right? So they went through and ranked our hazards, so that's in there. And then it gets really down to the nitpicking where it details a scrap fire, okay? A tire scrap fire. And it goes into like 5 pages of a scrap tire fire and the occurrence of it. And so it does that for each potential disaster or emergency that can affect us. So that's what makes it such a long document, so.
What was the last time that we actually got money for hazard mitigation?
The state does not share that with us, so we have a local jurisdiction that applies for that grant. They don't share that information with us. I do know the city of Lapeer has had projects in there for years. They seem to always put in grant applications, and it's a crapshoot whether you're gonna get it or not. The process for awarding hazard mitigation grants seems to change every time we ask about it. So it used to be the first one in the file cabinet, in the front of the file cabinet, picked it out, and they started doing it that way, and then it was a formula based on your population, and there's no rhyme or reason to their awarding of the hazard mitigation. And then if you have a large disaster in your jurisdiction, okay, they might look at you first.
Like floods?
Yes, exactly. The Midland floods, I know they got some, local governments got some hazard mitigation money on that, so It's just, again, it changes with everything. We just have to have this in place. And this one expires in 5 years, so we're good for another 5 years, so. And it also, at one point, you want to apply for a firefighter's assistance grant. One of the first questions on the application is, does your county have a updated hazard mitigation plan? If they check yes or no, then it would, work to their advantage if they adopt it as well, so if that makes any sense.
Good. We've got a resolution in the packet. I'd ask for a motion.
Motion, and before I make the motion, I also want to give kudos and thank you to Mary. A lot of people don't realize behind the scenes when things are happening and emergencies are there, and you're at home wondering if there's anybody even out in the streets helping you, and it's all her and her team that she puts together, so we give you a great thank you for that. So,
Well,
yes, I'll make that
That
motion.
team makes it.
I'll make that motion to move the resolution.
How many years have you been emergency manager?
In a couple weeks, I will be hitting 26 years. I'm sorry, 22 as emergency manager, 26 with the county.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to have you for so many years.
Well, thank you.
Okay, I've got a motion, second. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, this is a roll call. I'm assuming as a resolution. Thank you very much.
You'll do another roll call next week for the official record, but yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Zender?
Yes.
Commissioner Henning?
Yes,
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary, for all that work. Okay, moving on then, administration. We have the request for authorization for the BAA contribution, our annual contribution. We have a motion and information in the packet.
So make the motion.
Okay, let's see, Mr. Warren will take the motion, and Mr. Zunder again, the second. Any discussion about that? Very standard item. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Okay, next, we have our labor attorney and a request for payment.
I'll make the motion to move.
Support.
Any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Okay, added the question of senior appointments. There was a little confusion. We're gonna try to straighten that out.
I'll clear it up right now, and I got a copy for one of to appoint Ed Schaefer to the BAAA Board of Directors. Today, I want to make an announcement also that Alan Pierce is going to be taking over my position for the senior authority, senior
Advisory committee.
advisory committee, sorry,
Okay,
here locally.
so that is your one.
That's my appointment for Alan Pierce.
Okay,
And then Ed Schaefer, I gotta get the information over to Lynette to get the records.
But we need a motion to
But
appoint.
we'll make the motion to appoint him to the board of directors.
So I will support his motion.
okay, have we had a application, a nomination? We did.
I got that today, so I'm making the nomination and appoint him. Okay, making a motion to appoint him today. And I'll introduce you, so for Ed Schaefer, you introduce yourself, say hello. That's Ed over there.
Very good.
Ed Schaefer.
Ed Schaefer has done a lot for the community, he's been around a while. I've been involved with him on other committees and stuff, and he is one of those guys that's out there in the street fighting for our seniors and been fighting for our seniors for a while, so I'm glad to see him get to this position. Thank you, Ed.
This is for the BAA
BAAA Board of Directors.
Board of Directors, okay, just clarify that, which is, means he has to vote, take responsibility. That requires a nomination.
A nomination and approval by us to send over to them so that they can put him on that board, so we have to send it to him. They are, Alan Pierce is local, and the things that are happening local in Lapeer. Ed Schaefer is not only local, but he's also going to be on a board with Shiawassee, I believe, in Genesee County.
Correct.
That's the whole conglomerate of all, and then they make the approval, they're the final approval on anything that's coming out of Lapeer that we send him to pay bills or contracts.
Thank you. Okay, So you're moving that nomination? Is there a second?
Yes, there was.
There's a second, okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
What about the other individual, Mr. Clements? Is
Oh,
he-
Mr. Clemens is still on. I understand he's still on. That's what,
But you need to make a motion to reappoint, if you would, please.
I'd like to make that motion. I can't, Linda told me yesterday, so I'm gonna make the motion. Linda said he was staying on.
Okay. Motion to reappoint Mr. Clements.
Clemens.
Okay, and second,
Second.
Brenda? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Good. And should note that Bonnie Kapalunas has already been nominated and appointed by motion. So hopefully we're we're still missing, I think, one place.
No, we're filled up now with the
Yeah.
nomination.
One appointment maybe from a center.
Does the senior center have an appointment?
That one still needs one, but BAA.
And you guys just simply confirm their recommendation, but we are waiting for a recommendation.
The senior BAA for future reference are for those that are 60 and over. Some people thought it was 65, but it's 60 and over. We believe it's the same for the advisory board.
Okay, thank you for keeping us up to date there. Okay, any other topics that I missed? I hope not. Okay, seeing none then, public time. Invite the public to speak. Carol.
Carolyn, Township. Right before the meeting started, I kind of got the wind taken out of my sails. I had a call from a daughter who is feeling these, even after the Supreme Court came down and made their decision, places of employment are still pushing certain things on people. And it's just gotta stop. You know, you have friends and family and close family that are still being bullied into doing things that they have the freedom to say no to, and it's just gotta stop. And there's just a couple of things this week that went through, and you may have seen these, but the Democratic Party came out and said, made a Facebook post, and then they retracted it. But they came out and said, not sure where this parent should control what is taught in schools because they are our kids, is originating. But parents do have the option to choose to send their kids to a hand-selected private school at their own expense if this is what they desire. The purpose of a public education in a public school is not to teach kids only what parents want them to be taught. It is to teach them what society needs them to know. The client of the public school is not the parent, but the entire community, the public. And I mean, we are taxpayers and they are, you know, that's exactly what we've been saying. We're the taxpayers, we want to see good education. But that was so, and again, they retracted it and whatever. And then, but this is how far out of touch this is. And then Debbie Dingle, and this was again posted, this is a quote from her, who was a Democrat back down in Wayne County somewhere. We are going to lose if we ignore inflation, border, crime. That's what the American people are talking about. So they finally realized this. So I hope some of these things are being addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to follow up on her statements. She's absolutely right. Kids have the right to say no. It's their lives. Why would you take a vaccine that's been emergency authorized? And it's not even a vaccine, it's an inoculation, which is different. It's not tested. It's not tried. Some poor little kid is gonna say, here, you gotta take the vaccine. In our schools, I would certainly hope not. It's just unbelievable. On the same subject, my mother-in-law went into the hospital here in Lapeer, McLaren. And guess what? Had a whole floor shut. You know why? Some of the nurses and doctors really didn't want to get that jab. They had questions. Now, poor little kid, you're gonna con them into getting goddamn jab, excuse me. But doctors and nurses who have some questions, they have a right to still have a job and not take the jab. This is personal, this is the Constitution of the United States. You have freedom of choice? I think so. But I'm beginning to doubt it. And on another subject, our borders, the Ambassador Bridge and the Blue Water Bridge. Canada is now not letting unvaccinated people, including truckers, cross. We're gonna have massive problems, and it's not gonna be long before this supply chain gets squeezed, and you're gonna see a whole lot of people hurt. But I don't even wanna get into the value of the dollar or the Federal Reserve, so I'll leave it alone for now. Thank you.
Any other comments? Mr. Pearson found out something.
Yes, I did. Good. Mr. Bosky's here. The date is February 15th at 7 PM at Dryden Township.
This is always a good meeting.
Do you know what time that is?
7 PM.
7 p.m.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other members of the public?
Once again, I'm not related to her, but I'm one of those ones that's been affected by a local business telling me that I have to be masked, I have to do this, I have to do that. That's still ongoing. I'm in a suspended status from my work. And they want me to go to my doctor for a second time. And get a piece of paper filled out by him. And in the process, I'm contacted several lawyers to see if they wanted to take the case. Me not being a wealthy man, it would have to be pro bono and, but the point is, I've said publicly to the board and to the people who's been here, it's not for me. It's for those women, for those men, for those young people that are working in that job that feel like they don't have anything else other than listening to the management say, you must be shot, you must wear a mask, you must do this, you must do that. It's for them. So if a lawyer was to take the case, I would insist that they do it and set aside a fund if they win for those people, for their defense. Because this has to stop. It has to stop. So much fear, so many people losing jobs, so many people walking away from jobs. We're at a record amount of people walking away from jobs. Number one reason, the mandates. And the fear. And the not wanting to put something into their body that is unknown. I'm just trying to give you the update to where I stand and my feelings on that matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, seeing none, typically we have comments from commissioners about meetings. I guess I'll start with Commissioner Warren. Welcome back.
And the comments about meetings and also what your constituents are asking for and what's going on here. So I have to respond to my constituents when they're talking in front of us. So that's not something that a meeting that was attended. But, and I should have introduced you a little bit more, Ellen. I apologize, but Ellen will be on our senior advisory board, and I'm glad to see you over there. Ellen is a military, retired military person also. So a veteran that we salute you for your service also. And what he's saying, he brought it to us. And we all applauded the fact that he gave back that job that morning he was here talking to us. And then a couple days later, took it back away from the gentleman. And he doesn't need that job. There's a lot of seniors that don't need their job. They're doing it because they want to do it or whatever they're doing it for. As he's saying, he's standing up for the community. And I've asked many, many times for leaders to stand up for the community. I haven't seen any. I don't know where they're at. All across the country, I don't know where they're at. These are people said they're going to do something for us. He's absolutely right. Now, I don't know if you heard, but England stopped all mandates, masks, vaccines, everything, all, because they found out that's not solving the problem. Now, I told you, we're being controlled by the government, Medicare, Medicaid, all this stuff is controlling this country. And I took an oath, that gentleman took an oath, there's other people that took an oath to defend this country from both foreign and domestic tyranny against our Constitution. That's happening. Our Constitution is being abused today. Abused, not trampling on it. They're abusing it. And we don't have leaders standing up yet. Local leaders not even standing up. No. I read an article in the paper the other day on advisory. I shouldn't have no names. We want to bring civility to the community again. And I'm 100% agreement with that. 100% we need civility. But what happens when you start lying to the community and the people and you're taking over their rights?
Yep.
It's going to be hard for you to get that civility. So until we change that attitude, civility is going to be pretty tough. I'm 100% behind supporting anybody with civility. And when I'm talking, I'm not trying to start any ruckus or anything. I'm talking about our responsibilities as leaders, as the oath that we took. There's a gentleman, the name just strikes me right now, but I'll get it to you. Minnesota, Mercy Hospital. You may not have heard about this. And he's not the only one. There's another one going on in Virginia right now. But it's happening all over the country, including here. They are so sold on Medicare, telling them what to do, that all our people and all our seniors have died because they've been taking remdesivir and not even looking at other treatments. First time in history. Doctors local, 30 years you're paid. Some people, doctors for 30 years, don't want to treat them if they don't get vaccinated. That's appalling. It's appalling because they took an oath to protect the people. So the guy in Minnesota, he got in the hospital on a ventilator for 2 months. 2 months, young gentleman. Whole family got COVID. He didn't get vaccinated. Because he didn't get vaccinated, he didn't get the treatment he should have gotten treated. You're going to hear more about this. And you should be aware of it. You should be looking it out right now. He didn't get any treatment. The wife was trying to get her to get ivermectin. They wouldn't give it to him. He's dying.
Yeah.
He's going to need a kidney. They won't give him a kidney because of his condition. He's not vaccinated. Well, let me tell you about that. That was last Wednesday. They got across the country, and there's some people in charge. Some attorneys got involved, and they started taking action. Because last Thursday, they're going to pull the plug on this gentleman. We're going to pull the plug on him. And his wife is begging him, don't. Give him some treatment. If you're going to die, you need to at least try a treatment. That's what Trump put in action for, so we can have a right to try. They didn't. So they finally had him stop that thing on Thursday. They finally were able to get an airplane medevac him on Friday. He's in Houston, Texas right now. His vitals are starting to come back. He's starting to respond. He's tears in his eyes the other day as his wife talked to him. His vitals are coming back. What happened was they literally starved the man for 2 years, 2 months. Starved him, a young man. I don't know, I think he's 30 to 40 years old. Starved him in a hospital in the United States of America. And down the street. That's why you think I get upset. Because this is literally happening, and until we tell them to stop. Stop. Like they said, the Supreme Court made a decision not to force the companies to do this. But the president said do it anyways. But the Supreme Court then came along and said, well, we can do it in the government. No, you can't. I took my protection to protect the country, not for you to destroy my life. I have a right what goes in my body. A young lady the other day, attorney, civil rights attorney, just said, you stick a jab in me against my will, that's called rape. We have to wake up to what's going on. Now, I've been tested, and I've told you guys, last November 4th, a year after I had COVID,
I have 1.4 tests on my antibodies. That's supposed to be pretty good. I have people that have been vaccinated 3 times, boosted, boom. Well, I got COVID over the holidays. Omicron doesn't care if you got antibodies, doesn't care if you've been vaccinated, and even Israel just said the 4th shot's not gonna work, they're gonna need a 5th one. When do we stop that thing? When do we wake up? When do we get our leaders to speak up? And can I change anything as a county commissioner? No, but as 7 county commissioners standing up and saying, enough in this county, not gonna happen.
There you go.
That's what we gotta do, and they will start backing down. But we all have to start taking charge for what we're gonna do. Now, I'm looking at my future, what I plan on doing, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. But I can tell you what, whatever I do is gonna protect my life. I'm not here to protect yours. I am here to protect you, to stand up for your rights.
Yeah.
And I'm not here for you to tell me what I gotta do to my body. That could ever happen. Ever. We have to start taking charge of our own lives. But to put this into children, and they don't even know the results, they're not even looking at the VAERS report, how many people died because of the adverse events, and they say, well, they're just minor. No, not minor. A lot of people died from it. If you told me the vaccine worked and nobody's getting sick from that, that's great. But that's false. If people are still passing the virus and they're getting the virus, it doesn't matter. So what are you putting in my body and why? It's not solving anything. So I know you guys don't like to hear this, but I can tell you right now, all across the country, not just here, America's waking up. There's parents, there's people out there right now that are gonna be moving people out of their positions because they're not standing up for them. And they're tired. There are people getting shot because of fear of losing a job. Kids getting shot because their parents are in fear of them not being able to get their education. They can't afford to go to private schools. That's not what it's about. But we as a county, we have the control to say it's not gonna happen here, but we have to make that decision. But we have to start looking for leaders in this country, starting today, that are willing to come out and speak. And if you don't have that ability, you probably should be looking at a new career. This isn't a career where you signed up to come into this county. You signed up to protect the people that are sitting in those seats. That's why I stand on it. I apologize for going on, but man, this stuff is literally, really happening in front of our eyes, and they're trying to make people like you're crazy for talking that way. Why are you crazy? Like common sense, just look at it. Nobody should have to tell you that this is wrong. So why are we doubting it? Don't ever doubt yourself, folks. Stand up for yourself.
Right.
We all need to stand up for ourselves, but we as leaders also need to stand up for them. And I apologize. That's where I stand on it.
Any announcements you want to make about meetings?
We have an art, and we have a properties meeting down in this meeting.
Can you talk louder?
Oh, sorry. That we have a personnel, or we have well, there is
We have
personnel,
personnel.
there's properties, and there's an art meeting after this. So we did have a presentation in our art meeting last week regarding the, internet, fiber and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. It's gonna take a lot of time, I'm sure. We have to get a lot more detail, but hopefully we can really do some good for the county, and get internet put throughout the whole county. That's the goal that we're looking at anyway. Like I say, it's gonna take a lot of time before we have all the details and that sort of thing, but that's the direction that the ARP is heading in anyway. So, and we'd like to congratulate the Supreme Court on their decision. That was really good to see. And for everybody to keep in mind, these independent businesses making these choices, making their employees get vaccinated and stuff. The one thing that we do have the right is not to frequent those establishments if they're not, supporting the views that we have. So keep in mind, the power of the dollar always does have some influence. That's all.
Okay, we will come back to meetings because we got to clarify the order of those meetings. Commissioner Miller?
All I'll say is, I was lucky enough last week to get Omicron. I said on Thursday, I feel like I got hit by a train. Well, life of farm, I actually got to experience a similar feeling because on Saturday, while I still wasn't feeling too well, I got hit by a cow. So I am in quite a bit of pain at the moment. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it this morning because I had some knees not wanting to move. But regardless, I'm here. Happy I'm here. We make a quorum.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
All I'll just say is same thing with Commissioner Zender said. I'm happy that the Supreme Court made the decision that they had made. It was the right decision. They made another decision I thought was not so much the right decision, but I do think they, at least one of the judges, did give good legal reason behind it. Wasn't deranged reasons, though I disagree with it. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to talk too much longer. So thank you all for being here.
Couple meetings I thought I'd report on. One, MAC Environmental Committee met last week. One of the significant things that our staff talked about there was that the state is slowly moving to allocate the federal ARPA monies through the state. That's now, I think she said, 5.3 trillion. I think it's no, billion, sorry, 5.3 billion, if I remember the decimal part correctly, at least over $5 billion. And it looks pretty certain, though again, it's not in legislative decision yet, that water and infrastructure, including broadband, will be the #1 priority area for allocation of a lot of that money. So we were talking about internet broadband here. There may be significant money that's available through that portion. She indicates it looks like most of that will be done through grant applications. So that if that's true, then the quicker we're able to move to be ready for that, probably the more likely we are to be able to obtain some of that money to increase what we're doing or talking about doing in the internet area, broadband area. The other thing I thought I'd report on was yesterday was the Human Development Commission meeting. They had their annual audit, which seemed to be very well conducted. They evaluated their director, Lori Offenbecker, and she had very high evaluation score from the committee that was doing that. And that I continue to be impressed by her and the staff and the work they're doing. I guess that's all I will indicate from that meeting at this point. Final topic would be our meetings today. We need to clarify the order. If it's all right, we'll start with personnel.
Who are we gonna have? Who's gonna be in first?
Well, that's the question. Okay, there are two of us that are currently serving personnel members. I wondered if somebody could volunteer to be the other.
I can step up.
Okay, we have 3. Then the next logical one typically is properties. Okay, and we're short a member there.
I'm there on that, so we need one more.
Anybody wish to sit in on properties? Are you going to be able to, or do you prefer not to?
Just depends on timing. I do have 1:30 engagement.
Okay, we should be able to match that. Okay, well, Commissioner Miller on that. And then the third was ARPA. And again, we're short one person. Typically, the person filling in has been, I think, Commissioner Zender.
No, I think he's
No.
on.
He's sort of acting chair.
Yeah.
Commissioner Warren?
I've sat in on it.
Yeah, okay.
So
So,
is Mr. Miller. We both have been crazy. So is Linda.
Well,
Yeah.
Rick, would you like to take it or do you want to?
My thoughts are, as my day goes on, I have another committee that I'm gonna be on this afternoon. That, it takes up a lot of time, as you're well aware of. And then another meeting that later tonight, so I would like to break in between the things, yeah, if you could help out, but
I can take that.
understand if you're sick, I don't want you.
No, I'm not sick.
You're sore.
Yeah, I will, I can sit in on that meeting as well.
I appreciate
okay. All right. Any other announcements or
it. Motion to adjourn.
board motion? All those in favor? Aye. You're adjourned.